Dear listener, before the story begins, I ask you to subscribe to my channel. This is the best motivation at the start. And we are starting. Dear listeners, today we have a resonant story about a wife's infidelity with a minibus driver. At times, it is quite harsh and frank, so I ask the faint of heart not to listen and close this video. For all who decided to stay, get comfortable, and let's begin. Greetings to all. Please don't judge too harshly for errors, as I am not a writer at all. My spouse and I have been together since 2006. I'm 34 years old, and she's 32. Out of curiosity, I installed a program on my wife's phone for the hidden recording of calls in WAV audio format. These records are not displayed in the music player on the device, and the program itself is concealed within the menu. I installed the program to understand what she converses about for hours with her mom and sister, and what she chats about with her girlfriends. How fortunate it was for me that for nearly 2 months of wiretapping, my wife did not give a reason for concern, and I was already considering deleting this program, deeming my wife to be honest and respectable. But October 21st arrived, a truly dark October. My wife returned from work somewhat preoccupied and displeased. She didn't really eat, sipped some tea, and slipped into bed to sleep, citing extreme fatigue. The clock showed 9 p.m. I covered her, kissed her, and went to the kitchen. Sometime later, I remembered her phone. For a week now, my wife had been complaining that the phone was displaying a message about insufficient memory. Not finding anything suspicious in her recordings, I was skipping whole weeks, as the recordings were accumulating in the phone's internal memory. I selected all the recordings of conversations with her mom and sister and clicked delete. Then, in chronological order, I listened on fast forward to what she was talking about with her girlfriends, and also deleted those recordings. And voila, there are 2 conversations with John. One conversation is 12 minutes long, dated October 20th. The second conversation is 1.5 minutes, dated the 21st. John is the brother of her coworker, a minibus driver. In the summer, I had some spare parts for a Chevrolet car, and through my wife, I sold them to him at a very low price. She entered his number on her phone, but after selling the spare parts, she didn't communicate with him by phone anymore. And here are 2 calls. I turn on the first recording, and it seemed that she was the one who called him. John is specifically drunk. The first 6 minutes of the conversation give nothing, but he was asking about spare parts if she had anything available. His Chevrolet broke down and he's fixing it. My wife works on the outskirts of the city, at the final stop of the minibuses. The route John works is also there. That is, the distance from the parking lot of these very minibuses to her work is some 100 meters. But the second half of the conversation made me break out in a cold sweat. Here's the conversation itself. John says, "Okay, there are no spare parts. Listen, let's do it so that no one is offended, but you and I have to meet. When is it convenient for you?" She replies to him, "Listen, I don't even know, I'm busy now, lots of work." And then he interrupts her. "And is there a desire to meet?" She doesn't say and laughs. "Is there a desire?" "Yes, there is." John. "So there is, yes?" "Yes, there is a huge, wild desire to meet with you." Her voice is languid and very exciting. I haven't heard such a voice from my wife addressed to me in a long time. John asks, "Wild?" She answers him, "Yes, only there is one but. She meant me." He interrupts her again. "And when can I meet with you?" She says, "No way in the evening. In the evening I'm at home. And at night too. I work during the day." He says, "I also work during the day. Can I pull you out of work?" She replies, "Unlikely, but try." He says, "I'll try." And she playfully says to him, "Well, try." To which he says, "I'll try. And at what time can I call you?" She replies, "From 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday to Friday, except Saturday and Sunday. If anything, you can come to me at work." John, "I'll call you tomorrow and we'll meet and discuss everything in more detail." She answered him, "Okay, I'll be waiting." After a few more dialogues, they disconnected. The second recording turned out to be the wife calling him again. It was lunchtime. He answered her that he had a terrible hangover. He began to apologize that he could not come today. He was sick. I'm thinking that's why she's so sad and displeased. She was all set for sex that didn't happen. The world was slipping from under my feet. My heart was pounding. There was a ringing in my ears. As if it was ultrasound, I was suffocating. There wasn't enough air. I went out to the landing, smoked 3 cigarettes. I listened to the recording again. I started to feel sick. Thoughts in my head about what to do. I enter the apartment, go into the room, turn on the light. My wife is snoring on the bed. Such hatred for her. I wanted to hit her with something. I go up to her, pull back the blanket. She's wearing a set of underwear, a bra and panties of the same color. I stick my hand in there, and it's like a little girl's. You know, all smooth, shaved, well-groomed. The thought flashes through my head. Ah, you beast, so you were ready today. She wakes up, pulls my hand out and pushes me away. I'm sleeping, and you? And then I ask, what, someone can't have a green light? Am I getting in the way already? And my wife says to me, what are you talking about? She tries to cover herself with the blanket and turn away. I say, I'm talking about the fact that Johnny was supposed to make love to you today. And the sleep instantly passes, her eyes widen. She turns to me. What, John? What are you talking about? That minibus driver. You agreed to meet today. I know everything. That is, in 6 minutes, some drunk bus driver sweet-talked you into sex. What nonsense. Are you crazy? What are you missing? What does this drunken driver have that I don't? What attracted you to him, you country fool? What did you fall for? You blow me off in bed, but here you agreed with a drunk. You think he would have taken you to a hotel or a rented apartment? It all would have been in that dirty Chevrolet, on the dick. She said, nothing would have happened. And then I slapped her a little, grabbed her by the cheeks with my hand, pulled her to me, and tapped the fingers of my other hand on her lips. I say, shut the fuck up. Something could have been in this filthy mouth today. You could have brought an infection into the house, you filthy bitch. Listen, friends, never in 11 years had I allowed such base words to my wife, let alone raise a hand to her. Further, she realizing that there was no point in denying it, and there was a complete recording of their conversation, began to tell how it was. It turned out that even before selling him spare parts in the summer, her co-worker, as you remember, his sister, introduced my fool to this John. When the end of my wife's work coincided in time, they, together with the co-worker, went to the stop where he was waiting for his sister to take her home. My chupacabra always sat in the front. His sister got out earlier. My chupacabra rode with him further to our house. According to my wife, John is very cheerful, pleasant, and interesting to talk to. In appearance, he is not much, but the attraction to him is simple and exciting. His voice, she says, I don't know why, but when he talks to me, I get aroused. I get out of the Chevrolet from him in a good mood, to put it mildly, and then I wildly want intimacy. After which she started crying. I'm telling the truth. And that phone conversation, well, it turned my head. Yes, I'm not normal. I myself don't know why I agreed to meet. And again, tears. I'll tell him tomorrow that there will be no relationship between us, that I was just playing around. I only love you. Do with me what you want. Did I forgive her? I did. Someone will consider me a noble deer for not kicking her out, not breaking up. But she and I have been together for more than 11 years, and that's a long time, a decent one, and she is very close to me. Even more, I won't be afraid of this word, even more than relatives. There is a wonderful Japanese proverb. When after the start, you find yourself behind everyone, do not despair. It's a wonderful opportunity to look around and understand why it happened. And indeed, looking around, I understood why she was drawn to infidelity. Our family ship ran into household reefs and got stranded. Our family life has become monotonous. You can safely make accurate predictions of what will happen in a week on Monday, because each new day is similar to the previous one. There is no joint leisure, no rest either. Both of us, like robots, toil at work to pay off the fucking loans, forgetting about each other. But I also scolded her for the fact that she, realizing that a crisis had matured in the family, preserved this crisis with the words that everything was fine, everything was satisfactory. After all, I repeatedly raised this topic that something was wrong in the family, and she decided to diversify her life on the side. Really, instead of shaking up our relationship and falling in love with each other again, it's easier to look for adventures on the side. Has anything changed after that? We continue to live, and life has become better. My wife rethought everything, realized that she could lose me. I realized the same thing. From time to time, I still remember this recording. My wife notices this, asks what happened. I answer honestly that I forgave you, but I still remember. She comes up, gently hugs, kisses and whispers that everything is fine. It won't happen again.